Welcome back, elemental benders of all sorts, shapes, and sizes, to another exciting, hopefully conclusion of Let's Playing Quest 64. The Saga. Last we left off, we were gonna go... Oh, wow, we were right next to Bagus. Okay, so Bagus is an interesting guy. He's the king of fire and steel or whatever. It seems Fargo and Guilty were not as powerful as their boasts. But my power is absolute, and before my greatness your pathetic human magic is naught but child's play. Ha, 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 ha. Alright, so against Bagus, you have two options. You can't, well, let's say three options. Option number one is you grind like mad and you just fight him like head on, right? You stat check him and you say, boy, my stats are better than yours. We have not been grinding, so we are not able to take that as our option. Option number two is go in here and use the numerous items that we have been stockpiling throughout the entire game. However, that just never feels good. I don't like using these things, right? We spent the whole day picking them up. What'd we do? Pick them up to use them? That's silly. So we'll just not do that. Option number three is pretty goofy. It involves clipping Bagus on a specific section of the environment, the battle screen. See, the real problem with Bagus is he does so much damage. Like, so much damage. He has two attacks. That green hyper beam and then this blade beam. The blade beam actually does less damage, surprisingly. However, I'm trying to remember how to do this. Yeah, I think we want him over here. Is that going to be enough? Let me check here. It's hard because the camera doesn't really move up. I think this is where we want him. Anyway, the third option is get him clipped on the environment. And the way we're going to do that is by getting him to follow us onto this little ramp. I know it's hard to see. Hopefully he was trying to follow us there. Because Bagus' AI ain't too great. And what he'll do, what we're gonna do, is we're gonna draw him all the way onto this little island. I'm not sure what you want to call it. And from here, oh no, see, we don't want him doing that. I think we have to move a little bit close to him, because that's gonna let him, see, that's his ranged attack. Oddly, Bagus breaks the rules for most. Bagus, come on, work with us here. Bagus breaks most of the rules in that he is a boss whose close range attack deals less damage than his long range attack. This is just a little frustrating. I'm not sure why he isn't moving forward. Maybe if we run away further, we can get him to do it. Yeah, there we go. He's following us now. Gosh, 63 damage. It's so much. Okay. Now, what do we want to do here? Probably just want to use a healing item of sorts. 150 looks good. Yeah, the real issue, though, is just Bagus hurts so much. So much. And I'm really bad at getting him to come over here. But we're still gonna keep with the strategy. We're gonna run out of MP. And that's gonna be an issue. I can't quite remember how to get him to follow up to this last bit. Ugh. We'll eat some bread. There we go. Perfect. Maybe if we just move a little further, he'll do it again. I'd be okay with that. No! Come on, king guy. You're supposed to chase the toddler. Yeah, imagine though, like, we're healing every round and we're almost dead. If you try and fight this guy head on, right? Oh my goodness, it is just a world of pain. So I think, what do we want here? We obviously need to heal. I'm really hoping we can get him to move over just a little bit. Perfect. Okay, because what we want is we want him to get clipped. See this corner right here? You see how you can't walk up the stairway? Bagus will be like, I'm an old man, and he'll try to move up this stair. Now I think there's an item. Isn't there an item we can use to increase our movement? Yeah, but Bagus will just dispel it anyway, so there's not a whole lot of point to using it. Okay, we might be able to get away with using it here. I think it's called the giant shoes. Didn't we pick one up at the very beginning of the game? I think so. Yeah, here it is. Doubles our range. Hopefully he won't use his... Oh, well he missed, so it doesn't matter. Alright. So this shouldn't be too bad now, because I believe he will just stay over there. We're gonna need some MPs, so let's grab some. Now, you might be thinking, Chezni, he's still hitting you. How is this any better than the situation you were just in? Well, eventually he'll stop hitting us. Eventually. I think this is the sweet spot. Yep. Alright. You think this is cheap? It might be. It might be, but Bagus is a cheap Mother Hubbard with the amount of insane damage he dealt. Remember when we were fighting Guilty, I'm pretty sure I said something like, the only reason we're able to kill Guilty is because we can heal more damage than he's dealing us. And it was only by like 8. It wasn't very much, but technically that allowed us mathematically to win the fight. There's no way to win a fight against Bagus unless you're using items, because he's constantly dealing that just that 60 and 50 damage, which is just too much to deal with. There's no feasible way to handle it. With our current setup, there's no feasible way to handle it. Anyway, at this point, it is just a matter of whittling Bagus down. The fight's pretty much over at this point, so don't expect anything exciting. He doesn't have a second form, or no superpower. So how you been, guys? Hopefully all of your EXP is meeting the levels you need in the game of life. Work was terrible today. So what do? We play Quest 64 as punishment. You thought work was terrible? Get a load of this. Nah, I love this game. Rinse and repeat will drain his magic, might as well. Heck, at this point we could even just heal up to full HP, there's no reason we wouldn't. 271. Oops. Oh, that's not the correct spell. Yeah, I don't know about this boss. I like that you can... I mean, it's kind of funny that you can get him clipped here, and this is an easy way to fight him. It's sort of like the first boss, right? The Earth boss, Solvering. How we just skirted about the edge of his radius and fought him. But he was the first boss. It felt okay that there was an easy way to get around his attacks. And then, of course, you fight Zels? The Wind Dude. And he's like hit or miss, right? You can kind of dance in and out of his range. He also felt good. I don't like Nepti. Nepti's not a fun fight. Nepti is just deal more damage than she deals to you and heal more HP than she deals to you. It's kind of the problem overall with some of the later fights in this game. It reached a point where, like, there wasn't necessarily an intentional way to avoid the boss's damage. Like, I don't feel like this is an intentional, like, the developers weren't like, well, first they'll lure Bagus over to the entrance and then they'll run around him and take advantage of the crappy pathing AI we made. Like, that wasn't what the developers wanted. But oh, whoops, wrong spell. But, like, it kind of felt like there was a little bit of give and take, right? On a lot of the spells, you could kind of move, get in and out of people's range. I really like fighting, I've already forgotten her name, the chick who said she was the servant of Mammon or whatever, who'd lived for 1,000 years. I don't know why, but I really like that fight because the environment is neat and you can get out of her range, but at the same time, you know, she'll still hit you sometimes. I don't know. Honestly, they probably didn't put much thought into precisely how players were going to dodge every boss attack. Well, we won! That's good. It's kind of amazing this game is playable at all when you stop and think about it. The amount of weird interactions. Again, though, I feel like that adds to its charm. Alright, so Bagus is dead. We win, right? We won the game! Except, of course, we were tipped off by Shannon that Mammon was... Or I think we were tipped off by Shannon. Somebody tipped us off. Mammon was mentioned at some point, I'm pretty sure. Oh, gosh. Am I recording? How many times do I ask myself that? Yes. Yes, we're good. We're good. Oh. There we go. And if you thought the other parts of the game were weird, this part is gonna get loopy. So we're on top of the castle, I believe. Bagus Castle, and the king is dead. So that queen or whatever who asked us to go protect her... Well, actually, she asked us to fight Fargo. I don't think she mentioned Bagus. Anyway, the immediate problem has been resolved, right? You would assume. Anyway, you can see Shannon down there, of course. And the music cuts out to be more dramatic. What took you so long? King Bagus wasn't a big problem, was he? Nothing like the power held by Mammon. Solvering, Zels, Nepti, Fargo. These four guardians hold the power of the four magic gems. Feel the power within you. You now have the strength to open the way to where Mammon waits. Here is the Eltel book. I love how she just gives it to you. Long sought by your father. Take it and go past the stone circle. So this entire time, Shannon had the book. And I mean, I suppose you could think she took it from Brian's father, but I choose to believe she had the book the entire time. There's an interesting thing we can do here now. I don't know if the book shows up in our inventory. I think it does. Somewhere. Probably near the end. Yeah. So we have the Eltel book, which... if we were to use a pair of wings, I think, or if we die, so if we kill ourselves, we'll teleport back to the last place we rested, which should be the town. We can then take that and go back to the monastery, and I don't even remember, it's been so long since I've done it. You either get a special ending, or the characters are just like, congratulations, you've got the book! But that's the only way to do it, and we're not going to do it because it's probably not worth it. We're going to go straight forward and fight Mammon. It does seem kind of like that was Shannon's intention this entire time, was for you to gather the stones so that you could open the portal to unleash Mammon. Anyway. Again, get ready for some awesome, trippy stuff. I think this is... What is this? Is this just a castle? Or is this a castle we've seen before? I can't quite remember. Anyway, things are gonna start not making sense. So we can't go back the way we came, and of course there's just the void everywhere else. This is also the part of the game that I don't have very well memorized, so we're gonna probably get lost. A lot. Like a lot. Yeah, you can never backtrack in this place, which makes it difficult because a lot of these rooms are not useful in any way. Okay, note to self. The door on the right leads to a really long Uniracers track. By the way, if anyone got the Uniracers reference, pat yourself on the back, because that was obscure. At least they were kind enough not to have random battles here, right? Like... Oh, that would have been terrible. Wait, is this the princess's room? Wait, no. No, just the camera. Wait, what? Oh, okay, we have to go back the way we came, I see. Yeah, whoops. This makes sense. How'd we get here? I don't know where we are anymore. Oh, goody. If I remember correctly, the monsters here are no fun. Yeah. 90 damage. Bagus wasn't even doing that much destruction to our HP. I don't really see a good reason to fight the monsters here, so let's just avoid them. Well, we might fight one. Maybe. Just deals so much damage. How do we even fight this? I guess we could go for a really lucky ice wall, and then we have to leave if it doesn't. Ha! Okay, well there's our lucky ice wall. Let's just clobber him with the staff. So much HP. We would be dead. We would easily be dead if we tried to fight that thing head on. That was, how many hits? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4? Trying to remember how many times I heard the staff. I'm pretty sure that was 4. He's dealing 90. What is this, a Pokemon? Oh, the Pale Rider. At least this guy has the dignity to only do 72 instead of 90. Still way more than Bagus. There's no way we can fight these things. We would have to freeze them or restrict them in some way. Kind of trying to keep an eye out for spirits, but I don't see any. I guess they're like, you're at the end of the game. You're on your own. What? What? Where is this? Of course there's no map. We're in the world of Mammon. Spriggan? Alright, well if you're just gonna try to waste your turn silencing us, I guess we'll ice wall you. Getting crazy lucky on the ice walls. Now we get crazy unlucky. This guy only does 19 damage! You can fight him. What's that disparity in the damage? Like, where... Someone call the balance police. Who designed that statistic? They're like, let's create enemies that deal 90 damage, and then Create an enemy that does 14! Like, what? Oh yeah, the judgments are weird. So like, theoretically we could use the judgment to fight the pinhead, right? Because judgment is only going to do like 20 damage. They can't move. If memory serves correctly, the judgments are literally stuck because they're like statues. But it's just not worth it. Like, at this point of the game, we don't need that last crucial level, right? Like what are we gonna put points into? We've already got Avalanche. That's gonna be more than enough for Mammon. Watch, we're gonna get to Mammon and like Avalanche isn't gonna be enough, and we'll have come all this way for nothing. Then we'll have to spend another 5 hours grinding for spirits. I don't know whose house this is. It's one of the houses in Limeland. I'm sure they reused the environments or something. It must be one of those things where we just have to leave through the door we came in. What? Wait, haven't we been here already? I don't know. This place is a mess. Alright, we might be able to fight 2 judgments. Maybe. We'll try it. Well, I don't know why that didn't hit us, but I'm glad it didn't. No, we can't hit both of them. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, so we don't want to get close. Ow! You dropped a rock on us! Where's the dignity? Oh gosh. Okay, so I think that's the sweet spot, right? We get him to throw rocks at us, and we just run towards the rock, and that should miss us, right? Maybe. Yeah, you think you're so clever, you stupid statues. They do seem to be earth-based, so wind seems like a good choice. Yeah, okay, judgments are no big deal. Really is just those fiery pinheads. The Death Riders deal like 1 billion damage, but not as much as the pinheads. Death Riders dealt, or Pale Rider, dealt like what, 70? Even 70 is too much. Oh, what were we putting points into? I don't even remember. Probably wind. Let's see, we got Wind Bomb, Restriction, Slow Enemy, Large Cutter. Yeah, nothing cool. Not that we're gonna get anything cool again. That's right, I was hoping we were gonna get Storm. Just so you could see how underwhelming Storm is. Yeah, in spite of being the pinnacle wind spell. Guys, I don't want to fight you. Can't we do this some other time? Again, not sure why that misses sometimes. What? Double miss? What does it mean? It's a statue! How are you missing a statue, Brian? I have so many questions. Ow. They don't have very much magic, do they? There we go. That's a sweet spot. Beautiful. Beautiful! Okay, so how much actual EXP did that get us? Nothing. Wow. I think the only good reason you'd have to fighting these things would be to pad out your HP and MP because of the insane amount of punishment they dole out. Ooh, it really doesn't like this room. I think we're gonna skip fighting these guys just because for whatever reason this room is a little laggy. Yeah, and again, we are not incentivized to fight anything in here. I don't know though, I like how wacky all of this looked. Sometimes I like to imagine that the developers had all these testing rooms or whatever. Like rooms that they thought maybe they were going to use, or pieces of unfinished, underdeveloped places, and they were like, just throw them in there. Whatever you got left, just toss them in. We'll have the players run through them. I know this room looks exactly like the other blue and yellow checkerboarded path we took. And perhaps it is. But secretly inside, I'm hoping that it's different. I think I'm starting to understand why I don't remember any of this part of the game, because there's not a lot of choices we're making. We're just kind of going down a linear path. I didn't see any right or left choices or anything like that. So I guess we just have to hope? We're working up that agility stat, I guess. Epona? Yeah, 79% on our next big agility stat. Seriously, Epona, what's going on here? I've been waiting for you. This is the very last place where someone might come to your aid. From this point on, no one will be able to help you. What? Will you rest now? What do you say? Now, if we rest here, we can't do the L-tail thing, so I guess we kind of already rested. We already selected yes, so I guess we're locked in. We can't do the L-tail glitch. It's not even a glitch. It's just an L-tail feature. So I assume that's the real Epona? It has to be, right? Why would she help us if it was an agent of Memon? Yeah, so we're back in the original town. We can wander around and see some weird stuff. I guess like most of the doors are closed. So the question then becomes, do we go to the castle, or sorry, the monastery? Or do we go to the outside? Well, we're closer to the outside. We'll try that first. Okay, apparently we gotta go to the monastery. Unless we need to go to that one little house up on the hill. Which I think was this way. Nope. Go boy! 84%! For that sweet, sweet 67 agility. There's no reason to get 67 agility, I'm just being silly. I believe each point of agility does increase the octagon in which you can run around. Or at least I would imagine it does. Maybe not each point, maybe it's like in intervals, like every 5 or something. I don't know. Maybe it really is each point matters. Maybe it expands it by a voxel or something. Since pixels don't exist. Is that even the correct term? Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Go ahead. Bring your buddies. Like, seriously, we're not gonna fight 4 of these guys. We couldn't even fight 1. Oh, we could fight 1, if we get the upper hand. Certainly not 4. This room looks familiar. We going around in circles? No? Apparently not. Hey Shannon, what's up? Brian, you've gotten this far. If you keep going forward, you'll find your quest. Then my job will be over too. I am a puppet made only for the purpose of leading you. I went out among the people so that I might lead you. I knew nothing of the real world and its foolish people who are doomed to die. But why are humans so strong? With all of their grief, sorrow, happiness, and anger, why do they shine so brightly? The warmth of fire... What on earth was that? The warmth of fire, the winds in the field, the miracle of water, the abundant harvests. For all of these, they give their thanks with prayer. Tell me, Brian, is that what life is about? I'm a puppet, and I just don't understand. I am not of the human spirit. Sorry to complain. If you have the book and the magic stone, this key will open the goal. Your job is over here. Farewell. Yeah, so I guess in the end, even Shannon really didn't have much agency in this whole adventure. Right, here we go. Pleasant looking fellow. Ha! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha! Good to see you. Master Brian, we've been waiting and waiting. Thanks to the curse of the magician Epona, I've been shut up in this prison for 1,000 years. My wait is now over. You're the one who can set me free. Give me wings. We ran out of Red Bull, man. We can't give you wings anymore. I mean, I guess we got our red wings. You can have those. I will be free. My time has come again. You have released me from my prison, and just to show you my gratitude, I will not let you suffer. Ha 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 ha. So I'm not going to do the laugh. Anyway, this is our fight against Mammon. Mammon is not a pretty fellow. He's apparently incredibly slow, though, because we get the first turn. What is spirit armor? Sure that's a useful move. It's not the worst, right? So the cool thing about Mammon, I guess, is the fact that, well, I guess there's counterplay. He's not dealing 90 damage. And, so that arrow move, of course, hurts. And I guess our defense is up. We'll have to check the damage when we don't have high defense. But I'm trying to get up on this pillar because this is where we're going to avalanche him. See, 40 damage. We can handle 40 damage. And for those of you wondering, yes, up here you can actually get close enough to hammer him with your staff if that's your thing. Where's Avalanche? Guys, I don't remember how to play. Alright, here we go. So Avalanche does, well, a lot of damage for the same reason it deals a lot of damage to the Wyvern and other large enemies. Mammon's model is just so huge that a lot of the rocks hit him. Some might even hit him multiple times, although it's hard to tell. But yeah, even that move, you know, has a bit of counterplay because you can try and get out of the way. That one, not so much. And that one, I don't even know what the counterplay is. Probably none. But I think we're just gonna spam our healing items since there's no reason not to at this point and probably just avalanche him to death. It's probably a more efficient way to do this, but what do we care? Okay, as long as we don't drop below, what, 70? I think that's the magic number. Let's see how much this does. Yeah, the dealt about 50, 40, somewhere around there. I guess we could get greedy and do one more spell. Yeah, if you didn't have Avalanche, this fight is still very doable with pretty much any damaging spell. First time I ever won the game, I just did it with Windcutter V3. I'm sure you could do it with... Well, really, you could even do it with a staff strategy, since you can get close enough to him to hit him. And what I really like about this boss is the fact that he rotates through his spells, if you notice. He's not like, oh, you're close to me, I'm only going to use my melee spell. He seems to just use all his spells, and I think perhaps that's how more bosses should have been. There would have been a lot more variety in the fight, that's for sure. Because arguably each of these spells has a different approach, right? The one where he raises his hand and creates a ball of light, there's nothing you can really do. With the arrows there, you could try to run around and get out of their way. The most avoidable attack is easily the walls of flame that he summons. We would need to be a little further away, though, in order to have a better chance of doing that, because he shoots out the 3, so you just kind of want to weave in between them. Yeah, I think in general, if there were more viable spells to fight from a distance, it probably would have been healthier for the game if you could keep your distance a lot more and then do a lot more back and forth with dodging the spells of the bosses. I think that would have been a lot of fun. Sort of like, what were some of the other games? Well, Undertale is one, but like the Superstar Saga games, you do a lot of silly things with jumping with Mario or using the hammer to like knock attacks away and stuff. Ah! Why am I dying? Why is this flesh decaying? Oh! Why? Am I dying? Life! I hated it. This death, peaceful sleep. Mammon has been destroyed, but I'm still here. But why? Was I not bound to Mammon for eternity? Master Brian, is this your doing? Deep inside me, I guess I always knew that you would be triumphant. The life force that humans have is much greater than the forces of evil could ever hope to attain. Mammon was always jealous of you, humans, overflowing with the power of life. I have made a decision. I want to learn more of your human ways. I am leaving Celtland in order to meet as many people as I can. Perhaps, if I experience enough, I too may find my own humanity. Yes, we're going for the Aegis plot. Let's go. Persona 3 represent. Perhaps we will meet again, but until that time, you have my undying thanks. Farewell, Brian. It's kind of sad when Shannon is the most interesting character we've met in the entire game, and she just was a character that popped up randomly in every single inn that we went to. Before Brian's eyes, peace had slipped farther and farther away, and the world of Mammon emerged. Mammon, driven by unprovoked jealousy, usurping the brightness and the uniqueness of human life. But the sacredness of the life force can never belong to Mammon, and Mammon has been returned to the darkness from which it sprang. Feels like there's a little bit of English going on here. Only a few people know Celtland was saved from disaster. From disaster by a young man's... read, Chezni, read. From disaster by a young magician's apprentice, the people can now return to their peaceful daily lives. New towns rise from the ruins completely reborn! Even those who were injured or hurt are made whole again. Once more, the people are blessed with the warmth of fire, the wind's caress, cool water, and the fruits of the earth. The world will prosper forever as long as people stay close to the four forces of nature and balance, and as long as they walk hand in hand. How nice. How grotesquely sweet. Yeah, I think let's be real here. Most people at this point in the game didn't really do this to save the world. They did it because they just enjoyed shooting magic at things. So what can be said about Quest 64 now that I've played through it again for probably the 5th time? You know, to this day, there's still not a game out there that I've played that's quite like it. And perhaps I'm wrong. If you know of one, let me know, but I can't think of another game where you can move in real time to avoid spells that are cast in a take-turn, simulated real-time combat battle system, due to the limitations of the octagons. Never played a game where you just play as one character in an RPG quite like this. The only thing I can think of is the old original Dragon Warrior game where you just play as Loto. Yeah, I don't know. It's old-fashioned, for sure. If you didn't grow up playing this, you probably are not going to have a lot of fun playing it. It's just going to be too rough around the edges. You're not going to have a good reason to want to suffer through this. There's no real plot to speak of. And yet, in spite of all these things, I have to rate this game tier 1. Which, if... to briefly go over our tiering, tier 3 is wouldn't recommend, tier 2 is would recommend, and tier 1 is would recommend with a, you know, personal accolade of our favorite. And I think it's because it's very easy to get punished in this game. Like, it's very easy to die. It's very easy to just get murdered if you're not playing the game correctly. And even as a child, when I could barely understand RPGs at all, I loved this. Like, I loved the challenge. I loved the fact that the game wasn't afraid to just murder you. And it forced you to gruelingly claw your way through all of these wacky monsters in this whole giant world. Well, it was giant for the time. And, again, mechanically, it rewarded good play, and I think that's why it still holds up to me. Like, your actions in the game, at least when it comes to combat, your actions in the game matter. The spells you learn matter. The random fights do drag on quite a bit, and that's probably the biggest complaint I have, is especially in the boiling hole or the boiling pit or whatever it was. Those fights just keep going and going and going. And near the end of the game, the mechanics really break down. Because at that point, they don't... Like, early on, the developers have kind of an idea of what spells you probably have access to. And they kind of balance the game around that. But later on, they're just monsters that are doing, like, wildly varying amounts of damage. And unfortunately, damage is the only stat that actually matters in this game. And that's kind of sad, really. Agility matters a little bit, but, like, it's just damage. If you can damage your opponent before they can damage you, then you win. And I know that HP and defense factor into that, but ultimately, because you only have your one character, it's just a stat check in every fight. But is it? Because of the fact that you can maneuver Brian, you can move him out of certain attacks, you can manipulate the battle system to always be in your favor so that weaker enemies are taking their turns, you can freeze people to sort of get an edge. I don't know. It is really weird, though, that Bagus is probably more dangerous than Mammon is, and it's simply because Bagus just hits like a truck, and Mammon dealt, what, like 40 damage most of the time? I think the fireball dealt like 60 or 70. But, yeah, it is a little weird. And if you're fighting him from a distance, you can dodge the fire, so he's dealing even less damage. Whereas Bages didn't have any counterplay like that. Bages and Guilty feel really poorly designed. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why they added them into the game like that. Oh well. Anyway, this is far from a perfect game. By all means, like... It has so many things that are missing from it. The party members are missing. The plot is lackluster. But it just will always have a special place in my heart for some reason. Well, I think that's the end. I don't think there's any stingers or weird special cutscenes after the game is finished. I'll go ahead and let it play out just to make sure. Yeah, it just kicks us back to the menu screen. Of course, you could do the L-tail gimmick, but maybe we'll save that for another time. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed Quest 64. This Let's Play of Quest 64. Perhaps you loved it as a child too. If this is your first time watching it, congratulations, you're now indoctrinated into the world of unfinished THQ games. The next one will be probably Aiden Chronicles if I can get to it. I think the next time we gotta record straight off the console though. This lag is just unacceptable. At any rate, have a great day. See you on the next one.